Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to install new plugins. Two different ways to scan these plugins and add it to your plugin database on FL Studio. I'm also going to share with you how to organize your collection of plugins and also a really cool trick to have a quick access to your favorite presets, either from an effects or from an instrument. So with that said, let's start with this tutorial. Okay, so here on my downloads folder, I have the installer of Vinyl, which is a free plugin by Isotope. If you want to download this free plugin, simply go to the Isotope website, then go to the free plugins and you can download it from there. Now, just remember that if you are a Mac user like me, you are going to get a DMG or PKG file. And if you are a Windows user, you are going to get an exe file. Now, once you have downloaded the installer, simply double click on it and it's going to appear this window. Just go to install vinyl and it's going to appear this window. Just click next, accept the agreement, click next. And now you can select the components or the format of how you want to install these plugins. So if you are not sure of which format is the right for you, simply select them all and click next. But my recommendation is to select only the ones that you are going to use. Otherwise, all of the different formats that you are not going to use are going to be taking space of your computer or your hard drive without a reason. Personally, I only use BST3 and NKS. Now, as a quick explanation, we have the AAX, which is the native format of Pro Tools. So if you are not a Pro Tools user, then you don't need to install this format. The next one is Audio Units, which is the native format for Mac users. Next, we have the BST2 and BST3, which is a format created by Steinberg. It's pretty much the standard. Now, obviously, there is some differences between BST2 and BST3. In my opinion, the most important one is that the BST3 format, it only takes resources of your computer CPU usage while is in use. As the BST2 format, it always takes resources from your CPU as soon as you add a plugin in this format. And last, we have the NKS, which is a format created by Native Instrument in order to work with some of the software. So one more time, if you are not a Pro Tools user, then do not select the AAX. Next, if you don't have any keyboard from Native Instrument or you don't normally use their software, then do not select either the NKS. Next, if you are a Windows user, then do not select the Audio Units. And last, between the BST2 and BST3, I will always recommend you to only install the BST3. So do not select the BST2. But as I have some Native Instrument software and also a keyboard, I'm going to select the NKS. And last, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to also select the Audio Units. So I'm going to be able to show you later on the problem that you might have if you select all of them. So now I'm going to go press next. I'm going to press next again, and now is installing the plugin on my computer. And that's it. We have the Vinyl plugin already installed on our computer. Okay, so now that we covered how to install a new plugin, I just want to clarify that this is like the traditional way to install a new plugin. But there is some companies out there like Universal Audio, Arturia, Waves, Plugin Alliance, Native Instrument, just to name a few of them, that they have their own app to manage their products. So let me give you a quick example. Okay, so here back on the computer, if I open the Arturia Software Center, this is the app where you can install, update, or explore new products from Arturia. So in here on my products, you can see all of the products from Arturia that I have installed. You can update your plugins and you can also explore new plugins. Okay, so now that we have the new plugin already installed, I'm gonna open FL Studio. Okay, so here on FL Studio, let's start with the easy and faster way to add the plugin to your database. So simply open the browser and then go to a plugin database. Click on it, and in here we have three different categories: effects, generators, and install. Now, the effects and generator category are pretty much our favorite plugins. And then on install, we are going to have all of the plugins that we have installed on our computer or on FL Studio, which means that if you install a plugin but you don't add it into your favorite plugins, you are not going to have a quick access to these plugins. So if I close the browser and then I go to the Add tab, if you don't add the plugin as a favorite, this plugin, it will not appear on this list. Now, there is different ways to have a quick access to your plugins. So you can go to the Add tab on the top menu, and in here you can add generators or effects. Now, you can also use the plus button on the playlist. You can also use the plus button on the channel rack. And last, you can go to a free slot on the mixer, click on it and select your plugin. But remember, if you don't add the new install plugin to your favorite, these plugins will not appear in any of these menus. So coming back to the browser, in order to add the new plugin to the plugin database, simply go to the plugin database, right-click on it, and click on Refresh Plugin List Fast Scan. Click on it. Now it's going to appear this window, click on OK, and now that the scan has been complete, I'm going to go to the install plugins, I'm going to go to effects, as the vinyl is an effect, I'm going to click on it, and as you can see, now we have a new tab, which is called New. I'm going to open this tab, and in here we have the new plugin. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's really important to install only the format that you are gonna use. So with the mouse on top of a vinyl, you can see from the hint bar that if I add this plugin as a favorite, it will be the audio unit format. Now, that's not the format that I normally use. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the VST3 and I'm gonna search for the plugin vinyl, which is gonna appear in orange. So here I have the plugin. Now, as you can see from the hint bar, this is the VST3 format, which is the one that I always use. Now, in order to add this plugin to your favorite, simply right-click on it and click on Add to a Plugin Database. So click on it, then go click on Yes, and that's pretty much it. Now, if I go to the top, I close the Install tab and I go to Effects. Here on the bottom, you can see that I have the vinyl plugin. So now, if I close the browser, if I want to add the plugin to a free slot, I just have to click on a free slot, and here on the bottom, you can see that I have the plugin. So this is the easiest and fastest way to add a new plugin to FL Studio. But now let's have a look to the more advanced way. So simply go to Options, and here on System, open the Manage plugin. So now with this window, you can find all of the install plugins. You also have different options of how you want to find the new install plugins. Like you can select the folder that you want to analyze. You can select different scanning options like rescan previously verified plugins, rescan plugins with errors, try to prevent pop-up windows, and combine BST and BST3 version of a plugin. Now here on the main window, you can also see some extra info about the plugins, like the name, the status, the format, the kind, the type of plugin, if it's an effect or a synth, the vendor, and the file name. So from the FL Studio Plugin Manager, in order to find a new install plugin, simply click on a Find Install Plugin. Now it's gonna take some time, as it's gonna scan all of the plugins from your computer. And next, once the scanning has been finished, the new plugins are going to appear in orange. So simply search for the new plugin that you have been installed, or you can find it using the Find tool. So in here, I'm going to write vinyl. Now, with the new plugin selected, if we want to modify some info about this plugin before we add it into our favorite list, here next to the option, you just have to click on plugin, and in here you can modify some of the information like the name and also the type. In this case, as FL Studio has been detected that the plugin is an effect type, it doesn't allow me to change the type because it recognizes the type correctly. Now, if FL Studio doesn't recognize properly the type, in here you can change in between effect or synth. And last, you can add a category. For a vinyl, you can write, for example, lo-fi or whatever category you want. And last, in order to add the plugin to your favorite, simply click on a favorite, or you can also do it from the main window here by clicking this star. And now if I close the FL Studio plugin manager, if I want to add the vinyl to a new slot, I just have to click on the new slot, and in here I have the plugin. Now, just to clarify something, I only use FL Studio Plugin Manager if I have a problem with a specific plugin. And there is also an exception, which is for a Waves plugin. So if I go to the Find and I write Waves, you can see that I have quite a lot of Waves plugins, but if I use the easy and fast way, which is the fast scan, it will only show the wave shell. Now, I don't really understand the reason why this is happening. Now, in order to add every single plugin to my plugin database, then I have to use the FL Studio Plugin Manager, scan all of the Waves plugin, and then one by one, I can add it as a favorite, all of these different plugins. So I don't know the reason why this is happening, and I don't even know if this is still happening because I don't install a new Waves plugin since a long time ago. But that's probably the only reason when I use FL Studio Plugin Manager. Okay, so now that I cover the different ways to add plugins to the plugin database, let's have a look of how we can organize all of these plugins. First, I'm simply gonna try to open a new plugin, and as you can see, I have all of them organized by vendor. Now here on the bottom, you can see we have 3 different options by category, simple or tree. Now, the one that I like is a tree because it doesn't take much space, and at least for me, is definitely way faster to find the plugin that I need. Now, if I change to a category and I try to open a new plugin, you can see that it opened all of the plugins, obviously by category. But I don't really like this way as it takes a lot of space from the screen. Now, if I click on simple and now I try to open a plugin, it will open basically all of the plugins that I have on my favorite list. So as you can see in here is a bit messy in order to find the plugin that I need. But now if I click on 3, again, if I try to open a plugin, in here I can easily find the vendor and inside of the vendor the plugin that I need. Okay, but now in order to create these different folders, what you have to do is you have to open the browser again, and then on plugin database, right click on it and go to System and Open. Now, in this folder, this is exactly the same as it shows on FL Studio. So if I come in here and I open again the Finder, here you can see that I have these 3 different categories: effect, generator, and installed. But the ones that you are gonna modify are effects and generators, which are pretty much your favorites. So now if I open the effects, you can see that I have all of them organized by vendor. And we also have the plugin that I already installed without any category. So in order to add the plugin to his respective category, I'm simply gonna go to the isotope folder. I'm gonna click on it and open it, and now I'm gonna select the vinyl plugin and I'm gonna drag into the folder of isotope, and now the vinyl plugin is inside of his respective category. Now let me maximize this window, and now I'm gonna go into the effect folder. You can organize this folder as you want. I like to have organized by vendor, but if you want to organize by type of effect, simply right click on it, new folder, and you can call it a compressor, for example. And now you can put all of your different compressor inside of this folder. So one more time, you can organize this folder the way as you want. So now let me just delete this folder. I'm gonna close this window. I'm gonna close the browser. And in here now, if I wanna add the vinyl, I just have to go to an empty slot, go to the isotope folder. And as you can see in here, I have the vinyl plugin. Now for the instruments is exactly the same. If I go to the Add tab in here, you can see that I have all of my different instruments divided by vendor. So now one more time, if I open the browser, if I go to plugin database, right click on it and go to open, I'm gonna close the effect and I'm gonna open the generators. Let me just double click on generator, and in here, as you can see, I have it divided by vendor. So if I go to Arturia, inside of Arturia, I also have it divided by the type of instrument: analog synth, digital instruments, and piano and keyboards. One more time, you can organize the plugins the way as you want by simply going to the plugin database, right click on it, open, and from here you can organize the generator and effects folder the way as you want. Okay, so now that we cover how to install and organize our plugins, I want to show you a quick tip, which is how to add a specific preset either from a generator or an effect to have a quick access to it. Now, let me give you a quick example. Let's imagine that I want to add an instance of JonHut Diva with a specific preset. In order to do that, I just have to go to the Add tab, go to JonHut and select Diva. Now, here with the Diva, if I'm looking for a specific preset, then I have to go to a preset, and in here I have my favorite presets. I just have to open, and let's imagine that I want a bass, and I want the bass 3. Now I double click on it, and now I have the preset selected. But there is a way to have a quick access to these specific presets. So now if I go again back to add, the last category, I call it C short. And in here, I have at the moment only Diva. And inside of Diva, I have a different preset depending of the sound that I'm looking for: a bass, a lead, a pad, or a plug. So if I click on a plug, it will open an instance of a Diva with a preset of mine, which is a plug. How do we create this quick access for your favorite plugins? Well, it's pretty easy. I'm gonna close this instance of Diva. Now, let's imagine that I wanna have a quick access to these specific presets. So now from here, first thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open the browser. And in this example, as is a generator, I'm gonna open the generators. Now in here, remember that you can create as many folders as you want with the name that you want. In my case, as I mentioned earlier, I call it C short. So I'm gonna select this category and I'm gonna select Diva. Now with this folder selected, I'm gonna go back to the plugin, and in here I'm gonna go to the plugin options. Now from the plugin options, I'm gonna go to add to a plugin database as a favorite. I'm gonna click on it, and it's gonna say Diva will be added to this subcategory, Diva. Now I'm gonna press OK. So now if I go to the Diva folder, I right click on it and I go to open. I'm gonna open, and in here you can see this new Diva document. So first of all, I'm gonna delete the NFO and the PNG. Right click on it and move to a bin. And now I'm gonna take this new preset that I have in here. I'm gonna right click on it and rename it. And now I'm gonna name it as the preset Bass 3. Now I'm gonna press enter, and now I have a quick access to this specific preset. So if I close this folder, now I can go to the Add tab, go to the C short, Diva, and in here I have the new Bass 3. If I click on it, it will automatically open an instance of Diva with this specific preset. Now you can also do the same with effects. So now I'm gonna go to the Add, I'm gonna go to effects, and in this case I'm gonna go with FabFilter Pro Q3. I'm gonna click on it, and as you can see in here, I have always a specific preset as a default. The reason for that is because there is some plugins that allows you to save a specific preset as a default. So for example, if I want to save this preset as a default, I just have to click on the preset, go to options and save as a default. So every time that I open a new instance of a ProQ, it will automatically open with this preset. Now, this is a simple preset which have a high pass and a low pass filter. But what happens if we want to have more than one default preset? Well, in here, we cannot have more than one default preset. So we can do the same as we did with the generator. So I'm just going to modify this preset a little bit. And now I'm going to go to the browser, I'm going to close the generator, and I'm going to go to effects. Now here on effects, I'm going to select Fab filter, and with this folder selected, I'm going to go back to the ProQ3, and now I'm going to go to the plugin options. I'm going to open the options, and I'm going to go to add to a plugin database, flag as a favorite. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to say ProQ3 will be added to this subcategory. Press OK, and now I'm going to go to the browser. I'm going to right click on Fab filter and open this folder. One more time, in here we have this new preset. I'm simply going to delete these two files that I don't need. And now I'm going to go to the ProQ3, right click on it and rename it. And in this case, I'm just going to name it as a ProQ3 default 2. Press enter, and now I can close this folder. So now if I close the browser, now I can go to a free slot, click on it, go to the Fab filter category, and in here I always have ready this ProQ3 default 2. I click on it, and in here I have this preset with an easy access. Okay, that's all for me. Hope you like and learned something from this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching. My name is JonHut, and I will see you in the next one.